G'day viewers, Mark here. Welcome to the N Group Engine Room. Today I'm going to run through the most important points when considering solar. Let's zip upstairs to our showroom and I'll run through the key points. A regular question I get asked is, what is Tier 1? A Tier 1 company is a rating made by Bloomberg in America about how bankable a solar panel manufacturer is. And what I mean about bankable is how secure the firm is, how secure their assets are they a manufacturer that's going to be here for the long term, that world banks would loan the money to expand their manufacturing. So what this means to you as a customer is certainty that that product is going to be around and the manufacturer is going to be around to have the warranty honoured. Tier 1 only relates to panels, and it's really your security that others have done, and others being banks, etc., have done due diligence on those companies, that they are substantial, they're financial, and they're reputable to be still manufacturing in the long term. So when considering your products with panels, always make sure that they are Tier 1 rated, so you have the certainty. The next big item to consider is, who do you trust to install your solar panels? One of the main problems with installing panels and choosing installers is that many installations in Australia are now what we call orphan systems. Orphan systems being that the people or companies that install them now are either not in business anymore, or they're doing other things. So you can't track down and find if there's a problem with your system, about who can help you with any problems that may have arisen. So how we got involved in solar initially was going and fixing systems from 15 years ago that were orphan systems, and people couldn't find who'd installed them when they had problems. So the point I'm trying to make is that, as well as choosing your products that are Tier 1, your installation team and suppliers should be Tier 1 as well. We've been in business for 23 years and repairing and installing solar for 15 of those 23. One thing that I think is really important is, whoever you're dealing with, that they have a physical address and a showroom where you can actually come yourself and understand what they do, how they present, and what they can deliver. I'll take you for a quick tour around showing you some of our products. Welcome upstairs to our showroom. We're at 65 Watt Road, Mornington. Our factory here is 2 stories at the front. We've got the engine room down the bottom and the showroom up the top with all our diverse range of products. I'll take you for a tour around of all the bits and bobs we do. We specialise working with people, builders, homeowners and architects that value installing quality equipment. Mitsubishi Electric is one of the many products we work with. I've actually grew up as an apprentice 32 years ago working on Mitsubishi equipment, and like we're saying Tier 1 with solar panels, Mitsubishi I would regard as Tier 1 aircon manufacturer. As we walk through to the solar and battery room, you can see we also do hydronic heating, whether it be in slab or hydronic panels. This also integrates with things like such as Mitsubishi and Daikin. Welcome to the solar and battery room, where we've got the main 3 panels we're using at present and the main 3 inverters. First thing, is your panel Tier 1? And if it is, then the 3 other things to consider are looks, warranty, or value. After 23 years in business and 15 years being involved in solar, there's 3 ways that I would consider actually doing solar. What I have at my house and mum and dad's is the safest solar, which is in-phase microinverters. What we have on some large projects is the second safest way to do it, which is this Solar Edge with voltage optimizers. And where needed, we also do use string systems, but prioritise using a European inverter, being Ferronius. With a DC system, which is the simplest to install and needs the least amount of equipment, it actually can have, under some circumstances, problems where there's fires, and because we have dangerous high voltage DC flowing through the system, and there's no fuses and no circuit breakers and no safety switches. So the fundamental difference between a DC system and an AC system is a DC system, each of the panels are joined together like batteries. So each panel that joins together makes the voltage or electrical pressure higher. So we have a higher level of electrical pressure, which can be dangerous. And also what happens is if any one of those joins or any panel isn't performing to its peak, then it affects every other panel in the system. So in summary, this is like the weakest link in the chain is what will stop the system. So this is probably the most unreliable way to do it because everything is in a row and is all reliant on everything working properly, and also due to the no circuit breakers, safety switches and high voltage DC, it has the higher level of risk compared to other systems. Our preferred way to educate customers on what to install at in-group is the microinverters. Reasons being that each panel is its own power plant. One panel doesn't affect any other panel, so everything's independent. And most importantly being that we're dealing with normal 240 volt AC electricity, same that comes out of our power points and your lights, and that's protected by circuit breakers and safety switches. So all the wiring up to the roof is the normal wiring that we use in a house, and it's protected by the relevant safety equipment. So as each panel with a microinverter on the back of it is its own independent power source, we don't have to have all the panels facing the same direction and or the same orientation, the same tilt. So if someone has a roof that has lots of multiple angles on it, then hence this is the best system to use. If a system's subject to shading or debris, or just we want to be able to understand that everything's working fine, because every panel is its own power plant, we can look at every panel and how it is performing independently. Whereas with a string system and everything's joined together, we can only look at all of those panels all as one unit. So to work out whether something wasn't quite right, we can't determine that easily. So in summary, what we always suggest to people is to consider spending the extra for the safety of a microinverter system over the lower capital outlay of a DC system. One extra thing about the microinverter system too is it's like Lego in that if you need more panels or your energy uses change, you might get an electric car, then the microinverters can just add on individually like Lego blocks onto the existing system. Whereas once we have a string system, if we want to add more on, typically we need to start again with another inverter and a total another system in parallel to what's already there. The system here in the middle is what's called a voltage optimizer system, which is a bit of a mix between a string system and microinverters. In short, we still have a big box on the wall, like with a string system, and we have a small little box that goes behind each panel, and it actually separates. We get some of the benefits of a microinverter system where each panel operates individually, but we still have a big box on the wall and we still have high voltage DC. We find this has a price point advantage, especially in the commercial arena, and that mostly of our Solar Edge installs have been on larger commercial sites. Over the last decade, we've actually been involved in quite a number of batteries, from saltwater batteries, traditional lead acid batteries, small block batteries, Tesla batteries and LG Chem batteries. And really what comes down to me, my learnings from those are that at present, like the leader by a long way, which has the hamburger with a lot really, is the Tesla battery. Explain why the Tesla battery is really the leader. From a consumer point of view, all the things you think a battery should do, then the Tesla does, and most others will either do close to what the Tesla does or not quite as much. But they have a price point to be under that, whereas the Tesla has everything involved in it. Tesla has the easiest app for a customer to view to see what the energy is flowing through the house. It's large enough generally to run a house for at least overnight, or depending on the house usage, maybe 24 hours or more, depending on the time of year and so forth. It's robust. It's made to be outside in the weather. It looks respectable, and you can also add more to it later on. So if you're considering installing a battery with your solar, my considered opinion would be the Tesla is the leader in the pack for us to assist you with. One of the big points with doing solar and batteries is the best kilowatt of electricity to make or use is the 1 kilowatt you don't need to consume. So, for example, here we've got a sand and heat pump hot water, whereas a traditional hot water is a cylinder like this with an electric element in the bottom. This, in short, is basically a clever air conditioner that heats the hot water in the cylinder, but uses 80% less electricity. So this marries super well hand in hand with using your own solar that you're making, or using your battery energy that you've stored to then heat all your hot water in your house really efficiently. In summary, what's important to me is that the company that's selling your solar is also the one that's installing it, and that they have a physical address where you can come and meet and greet them and talk about the products that you're considering putting in your home or business. Please don't get caught out with an orphan system where your installer and your retailer has vanished. A couple of other things to consider is your installation team and company. Are they Clean Energy Council members? The installer's Clean Energy Council licensed? And also the Victorian solar rebate system is a difficult system to be compliant with, which is fantastic. We are authorised installers for the Vic government scheme, and it's a difficult thing to be because the bar is very high to maintain that level of installation. One of the things that's really quite common with solar design is embellishment of what the solar will deliver in comparison to what your actual usage is. So a designer is supposed to give you an accurate account of what the solar would do and what the solar will make and deliver, and then you can compare that with what your actual usage is. Our process here, which is the ideal way to do it, is to get your data for the past 12 months or more of what your actual usage is, and then overlay that against what our programs tell us that the solar will accurately deliver, and then we can tell you accurately that what the solar is going to do for your energy bill. A consistent industry bugbear is subcontractors installing subpar standard systems. Challenges for subcontractors not having pride in their work that we often find when we back at systems for people can be roof leaks, for not care in installing things, rubbish left in gutters, rubbish left on roofs, where it can damage, if it's a sheet iron system, a sheet metal roof, that what's left there can damage the integrity of the roof. Systems not tested and working, so they haven't met expectations from day one. There's a multitude of things that we find on other installations, which is can go from not cleaning up, material left in gutters, material left on roof leaks, things not being straight, conduits just run down the outside of someone's walls which are untidy when it may be able to be done differently, and things concealed. Things that basically where the pride in leaving the job, that's how you'd expect someone to do it at their own home and or at their mum and dad's. So my advice take home from that would be to ensure that the team that are coming to site to install your solar and batteries are employed team directly by the installation company. You may have long warranties on your equipment, your inverters and your panels, but what's the warranty that the installation team are going to provide? So Again, looking for, say, a Tier 1 installation team, how bankable are they that they're going to be around in 5 years, 10 years to honour their installation? If the installation is also not done to code, could the warranty for the panels or the inverters be denied because the installation instructions weren't followed? And if the installation company isn't round to be part of that discussion, then you may not have warranty on your panels or inverters because things weren't done to code. It seems the industry standard warranty is 5 years. Our installation warranty is 10. I feel we can easily and genuinely say we're going to be around for the next 10 years because we've been in business for the last 23 years. Another great question to ask of your installation team is, what have they got at home? What have they got for their friends and family? So our products here that we are recommending to people are the same products, batteries, panels and inverters that we all have at our homes. Historically, most people's reason for installing solar has been to actually just reduce the cost of their energy bills. Internally here, our reasons for ourselves installing and using solar is being more socially aware about not wanting to use one-off things like energy that's actually consumed once and then polluted the environment. So we find now that many people's buttons is their larger button is being socially aware about using their own energy and their impact on the world being far less. So to wrap that up, in considering solar, you'll either be in one or two camps, but hopefully both. In the saving some outlay on your energy, but hopefully your environmental button and your socially aware button is a button that aligns with us as well. That's a driving reason to do solar and batteries and or save energy. Thanks for listening to what we've just had to say. Look forward to you coming to see us at our showroom and looking at the diverse range of things that we do, whether it's the solar, the batteries, the heat pump hot waters, the air conditioning, the hydronic, and the many things we also repair.